Minds Fest featuring Destiny, Bryan, Callen, Peter Boghossian, Eliza, Bleu, Jamie Kilstein, Chris Williamson, myself, Aaron Wolf, Luke Radowski, Leighton Woodhouse of the Twitter Files, Tim Cass, Dean Crossland, Jack Posobiec, Matthew Israeli, Carrie Smith, and other special guests.
And a surprise musical guest.
And a surprise musical guest. And maybe the two, silly guys sitting next to me here will hop up on stage. We'll see what happens. So
you put me on stage last time, and I was like, that was the first time I was ever on stage. I was like, I've never been on here.
Yeah, didn't you drop an F Twitter bomb or something?
Yeah, I said fuck Twitter. I forgot where I heard that. I don't know. Someone said it. I was like, that's a great line.
That's a phrase that's uttered very commonly. So anyway, Minds Fest, April 15th. This year at the Vulcan Gas Company in Austin, Texas. You can get tickets at vulcanpresents.com. Correct, Sean?
Yep. Or you can just search Mind Fest Vulcan. Yeah, I'm excited.
Go ahead.
Excited to be at the Vulcan. It's exciting to be at the Vulcan. Like it's a really cool venue. It's going to be very rock and roll. Like those that came to the Beacon, like it's going to be a little different feel, but it's, comedy club. And like the greats perform there, like they were telling me a story of Dave Chappelle smoking in the VIP room, So yeah, really, really excited for that. And technically it's legal for the talent to smoke in a venue in Austin, but only the talent. It's a really, really strange thing. It's only the talent can smoke cigarettes in the building. No one else.
Yeah.
So that was bizarre.
It'll be great. And we'll, hopefully have some surprise guests. You can imagine, everyone listening probably knows the big guys in Austin, aka Elon and Rogan. So we'll see.
We gotta get them. How do we get them?
We got to get them. And who knows though, it's going to be great either way. And we're going to be doing podcasts. We're going to be doing music. Just to run through the schedule, we're doing a Change My Mind with audience members. So if you want to debate Destiny, Chris Williamson, Peter Boghossian, Matthew Israeli, Posobiec, this is we're going to be letting audience members up on stage. After that, we're talking about moderation and decentralization of social networks with Eliza, Bleu, Ian, Luke, Aaron, and myself. That'll be very spicy. Probably talk about a lot of the child exploitation stuff that Eliza works on and human trafficking and maybe even a little bit of Epstein. Who knows if we're feeling spicy. Yeah. And then we're doing a Twitter Files panel with Destiny. Leighton, I know. Tim, Bryan, Leighton, who actually has access. Leighton works at Public, which is a Substack with Michael Schellenberger. And they're all tight with the Free Press and Lee Fang and David Zweig and the rest of them. So hopefully we can get some more of them to come. We've reached out, and hopefully there will be more Twitter Files presence there. And so hope you guys come check it out. VulcanPresents.com.
I'm excited for the Twitter Files panel because a lot of what we've heard about the Twitter File stuff has been through like Twitter Spaces or on Twitter. It's pretty much like where you see it, obviously. But bringing it to life is going to be interesting. And I know Steven, Destiny, has really been interested in kind of hashing that out. Because Steven's argument is the Twitter Files, they're a thing, but they're not necessarily because he's actually read it and he's like, they're not necessarily as bad as people are making it out to be. It's almost like, hyperbole. But it'll be interesting to kind of see like where that discussion goes.
Yep. All right, cool. Well, let's have a drama combo. Because it's just wild.
Crowder. Unbelievable.
What do you think, Mentone?
He calls it a slave contract. Yeah, $50 million's pretty rough to live on, bro. I'm sorry to hear that you had such a low ball offer.
I mean, let's remember this is Rolling Stone, who is probably tweaking the context. I think that, you know, allegedly he didn't mean slave wage from, you know, in terms of the money, the slave contract in terms of the money. He meant it in terms of the fact that they want to own your social media accounts.
Yeah.
And they want you to abide by the terms of those social networks. Otherwise, you lose money out in the contract. So, like, if you got if he gets demonetized on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever, or YouTube, which he's already demonetized, he loses a big cut of that 50 million. Like, so, you know,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So that is his biggest concern. I thought it was, I didn't know it was like the owning of the social media. I thought it was more like if he missed work, like if he missed a day, he was going to be charged something like $100,000, or if he didn't produce that day.
Well, he did bring that up as well. And, you know, the cost the revenue per episode was something like 60 something, but then, you know, the speculation is, well, and Candace went on Timcast last night to talk about it, but, you know, there's more costs for Daily Wire beyond that for their production. So, and also he has the opportunity, and Candace also has the opportunity to make those days up if she misses days.
Right.
So
right.
it's like, like it was just interesting to hear Candace's perspective. Like, you know, her whole point was that, you know, adults negotiate contracts. And actually what they had sent Crowder was just a term sheet. It wasn't even a contract. So it was just a conversation starter. They were probably using their boilerplate template, which they use with everybody. And like Tim's and Crowder's criticism, and Tim's sort of on the fence, but it's like, I'm on the fence too, but like, so, you know, there's some valid concerns, but the way that he went about launching this whole campaign is just pretty wild. Like, cause like Jeremy and Ben Shapiro were like friends of his. Like, I'm pretty sure I read that Shapiro like helped him with a lot of legal work when he was getting his first contract. Like, they've been tight. And then Steven records his conversation with, you know, Daily Wire CEO, leaks it after Jeremy made his video. It's just like, dude, why are you blowing up a relationship from somebody who just offered you $50 million?
Yeah. No, I was going to try and pull up Lydia's tweet. That was actually Lydia. Well, whatever. I'm not logged in. That was actually Lydia's tweet. Yeah. Apparently Ben did, you know, she said like he really helped him out. And that's what's like really shitty. It's like, you know, and $50 million is a big number. That's why my question, like immediately before I kind of knew like the facts around it and like really understand the full scope, like my thought is someone like Joe Rogan gets paid $100 million. So if, you know, the Daily Wire goes to Crowder with $100 million contract and he says no, that's like almost saying you like that Joe Rogan's deal is bad, you know? I don't know. Like $50 million just seems like so much money. It's crazy that he turned it down.
It's crazy that he's asking for Rogan money. Like you said, that's as much. Isn't that what Rogan got paid to be on Spotify for 10 years? 100 mil?
100 mil.
Something.
Yeah. And I think
he's asking for $50 million more than Joe Rogan, who's literally.
Well, I think
it
might have come out. I think it came out that Rogan actually got more than that. I don't actually know.
And what would Crowder be like providing? I
mean, his show.
Content and like apparently according to the terms, like access to a social media. And I guess
What?
Tim brought up a really good point last night, and he was like, "Look, I was talking with Jeremy at the Daily Wire." And, you know, he said the reason I have a concern is like sometimes we like to be the wild card. Sometimes we do like to say crazy things and put crazy things out there, you know, that are jokes or that are meant to be shocking. And he brought up the example of like, he was like, I might want to run an ad calling, I forget what her name was, but a fat pig. We put that clip up last night. I forgot who it was. And like Jeremy was like, no, like that's funny, but obviously like that's not good for the Daily Wire. Can you kind of understand a little bit from the Daily Wire's perspective of like, hey, flame throwing is cool, but it's not always going to be good for the brands, if that makes
Yeah, I
sense.
mean, Daily Wire throws flames sometimes. I think that they definitely have a line in the sand for like how edgy they will be, though. And I think, yeah, but that's what you get into when you sign with a huge network. Like, that is going to come up. So it's just leaking conversations with friends. I don't think.
Maybe Bill, you could speak to this on the domain. So like, the internet sleuths were at work last night, and they found out that the Big Con domain was first registered on December 22nd, which I think is kind of like weird timing considering the way this has all gone down. I don't know how that would work. Is there a possibility someone else had that domain and they just bought it from them, or like, I don't know. It's like, as far as like being planned.
I mean, oh no, I think that the probable answer is that it was purchased in December, and it's been getting planned for a while. I mean, there's no way that someone else randomly bought that domain right before them.
Right. Okay. That's what I was thinking too. It's a weird one. Like, and he, he's obviously going to be on with Tim on Monday, and he might be like, hey, we were planning this, but we were planning, like, I found out about, the thing happened on the 22nd, and yeah, we weren't happy.
I mean, look, like contracts, people need to educate themselves about how to negotiate contracts.
Yeah.
It's not easy. In order to do it yourself, you need to really learn a lot. Otherwise, you need to hire an expensive lawyer. But I do think that there is something to say for having a sort of exploitive contract off the bat, though, I mean, particularly with the demonetization stuff, I think that, I'm sure Crowder could have gone back and been like, listen, no, however, like, let's, figure out something. If I get demonetized, like, this is the plan, this is how we're going to make up that money if I get demonetized anywhere, as opposed to it getting deducted. Like, there's ways that you can kind of productively engage in negotiation. So, and for Crowder to act like he's Mr. Anti-big tech, it's like, well, YouTube is still your primary platform.
Yeah, it's true.
And I'll just go to louderwithcrowder.com right now, but like, in terms of like the tech that they use to build their network.
Yeah.
I'm on Brave, and it is showing me that Louder with Crowder has 10 trackers, ads, and more blocked. So, because, if you're using Brave browser, you can see, so are you in Brave, Sean?
No.
Well, you're not going to be able to see it if you're not in Brave. So Crowder's website is using big tech to monetize itself and track you with analytics. So, it's, again, no one's perfect. No one is innocent of being in bed with big tech, quite frankly. Everyone's addicted to it.
Yeah.
And it's a question of at what level. So, yeah.
And it was interesting. Cernovich brought up an interesting take on it yesterday. So, and you're right. Yeah, he has 5.9 million subs on YouTube. And it's tough, right? So that's almost like golden handcuffs. Like, he knows that's his biggest platform. But Cerno is, so like the counter is that Steven thinks that he can make more money through the mug club, which is a great idea. It's a great thing he offers. It's a great way to engage his audience. But the logistics behind like shipping the amount of cups it would take to make $50 million in 4 years. It's a good point, because that would be a very large scale.
But it's not just about mugs. I mean, the mug is just sort of like a gimmick along with access to the content, right?
Mm-hmm. But you get a mug if you sign up, right?
Yeah, I mean, did you really hear him saying that I think there's like companies that can handle that like super easily.
It's tough. I mean, like, to have that kind of like manufacturing, or actually it'd be more like logistical, right? Because you're going to have multiple warehouses. You're going to have a huge staff, which costs a lot of money. You're going to have working on this constantly, just to ship. And then that doesn't include shipping costs and stuff. I mean, it does. It requires a lot. It just,
Well, I mean, that's what he's going to do at this point. He's doing it. He's doing his own thing.
Right. Yeah, but he was Cerno's argument was like 50 million just to keep doing what you're doing versus like having to scale up to have this type of operation. I don't know. Personally, I would have taken it. I would have taken the 50 million. Like, I get like there's like golden handcuffs and stuff. That's also, it is.
I mean, also it's like, unless he had like gone nuclear about certain aspects of the offer, if he had engaged in productive negotiation, he probably could have gotten him up to like 75 or something like that. If like you don't, just because he wanted 140 and then like says like, absolutely no, I'm going public with this. Yeah. It's like, but look, we also don't know all the details. It'd be very interesting to see how the show goes on Monday with Tim.
Yeah,
it's gonna be good.
How awesome is Cassandra doing there? Like that, they just luckily, like, apparently Candace was booked for like a month, because they're months out, a lot of the guests, and it just happened. Like it was just like the perfect storm, and like I do see a lot of people like, this whatever, and like it's all BS, blah blah blah, and I agree. Like I don't think anyone's really like a winner in this, but there is something to be said about people and how much they love drama.
Well, yeah, it's simultaneously just sort of like, when I first started seeing it trending, I was like, I don't have time for this. This is literally just, infighting and like just nonsense that I don't care about. But then like, when you actually think about the arguments, and this is like a systemic issue, and it's bringing up some important debate. So, I mean, hey, Crowder lives in Texas. Maybe we can, where does he live? He lives in Houston or something?
I'm not sure, actually.
Is he Jewish?
No.
I don't think so, no.
So he could come.
Yeah, we should try to get him to come. I told Ian to ask him.
Yeah, that'd be great if we can get him. Also, I do think we should invite somebody from the World Economic Forum. I think that's a really, really good idea. I highly doubt they're going to show up.
I mean, there's so many people who are involved with the World Economic Forum. You would think we would be able to find at least one person. Let's go. Yeah.
But I would just say, like, they know, like, it's going to be more of a contentious discussion for them. And if you kind of see like the way the World Economic Forum is, it's like everyone's pretty much agreeing. There really is not any discussion there. There's no one on the other side of any of the things they're talking about. So,
well, I mean, there is nuance with some of the conversations there. I don't think that 100% of the conversations they're having are kind of dystopian. It's not that kind of comic book villain. Like there are definitely, there's a lot of sketchiness going on there, but it's very easy to let it degrade into just like insane conspiracy. But like, I think
what it is, you know, like people say the World Economic runs the world, and, you know, Elon's talking about this, and there is some truth in that, because those are billionaires. Those are the people, they're the masters of whatever industry they're in. They're paying a ton of money to be there. These are people that literally are like running their like little part. You know, they have massive companies, huge influence, a ton of employees. So, you know, they already kind of quote unquote run the world, but it's like, it's just, it's interesting. You know, it's like a completely different area. Like it's like more the corporate sector, you know, and I talk to people in corporate, and they're fans of the WEF, and they like what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, mostly it's, you know, they're leaving out a huge chunk of the conversation. It's not like you see at the WEF some like epic debate on COVID,
right,
from both sides. You know, they're
right.
pushing agendas. They're not trying to have debates. So that's kind of the problem with it. But yeah, let's like dig through their you know, their members and see if there's anyone that makes sense.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
All right. Anything else you guys want to touch on?
Matt, you got anything?
Yeah, no, I don't. I felt
No,
the same.
Mantone's just on his phone, just not paying attention.
Mantone is tweeting.
I'm messaging Crowder.
Yeah, there you go. Get him there. Message Elon too. Yeah, no,
Mentone gets pissed. Mentone gets pissed when I text in between sets when we work out, and guess what? I get pissed when you text between conversations on the podcast.
If you guys were a little more interesting, maybe I would have picked it up.
Hey Matt, how many push-ups are you up to right now?
Well, I mean, Bill and I, we stopped doing the massive sets like we were doing, but I can do 60 in a row.
60 in a row, and then you were doing 750, 700.
We did 1,000 in one day. That was the highest we went to.
Jesus Christ, that's impressive.
1,000 in one day. And now we're just like we're mixing it up. Now we're doing like 500 instead.
Yeah, we're staying. Yeah, we got it's more about doing like switching up the type of push-up you're doing more wide, you know, yeah, wide push-ups, wide pull-ups, making them harder, doing claps. Because if you're just doing the same, you know, kind of motion over and over and not switching it up, it's actually not that beneficial. So,
which is pretty much my workout routine is exactly what you just do the same thing over and over and expect results. But
it's all progressive overload, Sean. You just got to do one more each time you do it.
Yeah, but I before we hop, I am very excited about the event. It's going to be fun. You know, I think we are going to have both sides of the discussion. We're not joking. Like, I would like to have a World Economic Forum person there. It'll be interesting, you know. And it's the Vulcan. It's Austin. It's April. It's going to be amazing. I hope, you know, like I said, like it's going to be a different feel. It's going to be like very rock and roll, but like I really like that we're bringing the music aspect this year. We did the stand-up last year. We have stand-up again this year with Jamie. But now we're bringing the music aspect with Bass Records. I think it's a really cool concept. So
yeah, man,
it's gonna be a great event.
It's gonna be great. It feels good to get it out there. So good stuff. All right, thanks guys. See you guys next time.